Most people don't realize how early most decisions about their life were made for them. Not deliberately, not maliciously, just quietly. By the time you're old enough to question direction, most of the structure is already in place. School tells you what matters. Grades tell you what success looks like. Timetables tell you when to move. Authority tells you when to listen. And because everyone around you is doing the same thing, it feels normal. Not chosen, just assumed. You're told where to sit, what to memorize, what to aim for, what a good future should look like. And none of it feels oppressive at the time, because it's presented as safety. Do this, and you'll be fine. Follow this path, and things will work out. Stay inside the lines, and you won't fall behind. So you comply. Not because you're weak, but because you're young. And compliance slowly turns into habit. Years pass, and the structure changes shape, but not function. School becomes work. Timetables become meetings. Grades become performance reviews. Approval becomes salary. The rules are no longer explicit, but they're still there. Show up on time. Be productive. Be reasonable. Don't rock the system. At some point, a quiet discomfort starts to form. Not panic, not despair. Just a sense that life feels busy, but strangely untouched. Like everything is happening on the surface, while something deeper waits in the background. This is usually the moment people blame themselves. They assume they're ungrateful, unmotivated, lazy. After all, things look fine from the outside. There's no obvious problem to point at, no crisis to justify the feeling. So the discomfort gets suppressed. People tell themselves to be realistic, to grow up, to be grateful, and life continues. What rarely gets questioned is the origin of the structure itself. Most people never stop to ask whether the default path was ever meant to be permanent. It was designed for efficiency, not meaning. For predictability, not alignment. When you're young, structure is necessary. It provides safety and direction. But when that same structure stays in place indefinitely, it begins to quietly limit possibility. Not by force, by momentum. Once you're moving, stopping feels risky. Once expectations are set, deviation feels irresponsible. Once a life shape forms, changing, it feels disruptive. So people stay. They optimize inside a system they never consciously chose. They chase promotions, upgrades, milestones, not because they want them, but because that's what movement looks like. And over time, the difference between motion and meaning gets harder to tell. This is where exhaustion comes from. Not physical exhaustion, mental exhaustion. The kind that doesn't improve with rest. Because it's not about energy. It's about misalignment. When your days are filled, but not felt, the mind starts to drift. It looks for relief in distraction, in noise, in constant stimulation. Not because you want more, but because stillness would force a question you don't know how to answer. What would I choose if nothing was already chosen for me? That question is uncomfortable because it reveals how little agency we're taught to practice. Most people are trained to react, not decide, to respond to options, not create them. So when choice finally appears, it feels overwhelming instead of freeing. This is why so many people stay in lives that feel slightly wrong. Not dramatically wrong, just misaligned enough to drain something over time. They're not trapped by circumstance. They're held in place by inertia. And inertia is powerful. It disguises itself as responsibility, as maturity, as realism. Breaking from it doesn't require rebellion. It requires awareness, not dramatic action, not quitting everything, not burning bridges, just the quiet recognition that the default path was never sacred. It was a starting point. Once you see that, something shifts. You stop asking what you should do next. You start asking what actually matters to you now. Those answers rarely arrive fully formed. They come slowly, through reflection, through noticing what drains you and what doesn't, through paying attention to where your mind goes when it's finally quiet. Most people never reach this stage because they mistake comfort for correctness. But comfort doesn't equal alignment. It just means the system is functioning. If life feels like it's happening without you fully inside it, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you've outgrown a structure that was never meant to be permanent. And recognizing that isn't failure. It's the beginning of agency.